Hello and welcome to my watercolour channel. Now, quite often I see a question posted on social media asking, I'm new to watercolour and I'm wanting to learn a little bit more. What are some really good YouTube videos to watch? Now this gave me the idea of compiling all the YouTube videos that I've utilised to enhance my painting and artistic understanding. These are not in any real specific order other than my own personal viewing activity as to their location on my subscriber list. Depending on your level of skill will depend on what you're able to get out of them. Now it's imperative that you are familiar with watercolour basics and the terminology that goes along with that. The first here is Leron. Leron is a watercolour painter with a background in drawing and drawing techniques. He combines the two beautifully and clearly articulates his process and what he's trying to achieve. He has a number of books on perspective, so if that's an area of focus for you, he may be your man. Now he records with a particular flair that is really engaging. He has an amazing variety of content on his channel, especially the focus on particular masters of watercolour, as well as interviews with watercolour painters. Next is Tim Wilmont. I personally am aiming to become a more impressionistic painter, and Tim Wilmont utilises many of the painting elements that I strive to build in my own repertoire. He records paintings ahead of time and will then narrate his process, technique and thinking. He looks to have a great Patreon process of challenges and personalised feedback. Now I enjoy watching those videos that he posts where he's giving the feedback and actually shows the submitted images of his Patreon members. Next is Gary Tucker. Similar to Tim Wilmont, Gary Tucker is an impressionistic painter. He has a calm voice and comes across extremely knowledgeable in the paintings and the techniques he creates and utilises. Talks through and demonstrates lights and shadows in all his paintings, cool and light tones and contrast, and will often share his tonal studies. I've found Gary Tucker to be actually currently a really great resource to build my own understanding. Next is Sarah Burns. Sarah is an artist based in Scotland. She utilises a range of mediums, most notably watercolour and gouache. I enjoy watching this channel for the variety of content, the story she instills in her videos, and the process of her plein air paintings. Her paintings are vibrant and beautiful. Next is Teo. Now Teo is most known for his work in urban sketching. Based in Singapore, Teo has a range of videos demonstrating the process he undertakes in urban sketching. A loose but highly effective style. He makes the process look easy, but obviously it's not so, and he will clearly articulate his process. His knowledge of perspective is also another to consider. He travels and will share sketchbooks of these. He also has many videos following an urban sketching group as they meet and draw and paint, which I think he is quite an important member of in organising, quite possibly. Now next is Cafe Watercolour. Eric is a loose impressionistic painter. Graphic illustrator by trade, he has a thorough understanding of the whole process and artistic elements from beginning to end. He discusses his process and what he is aiming to achieve in colour, shape, line, composition, you name it. Next is Steve Mitchell in The Mind of Watercolour. Now, obviously, if I had this in any other different order, I'd probably nearly have Steve's channel as my first option. Now Steve's channel it's an absolute gem for those of all skill levels and stages of their journey. He has had an amazing career as an illustrator for a range of employers, most notably Disney. He discusses the absolute basics but also tackles more complex ideas and techniques. He doesn't take things too seriously, and his spontaneous landscapes are a real popular series. He is really easy to listen to. Now, watch the episode on Phthalo colours and you'll know what I mean. I'll see if I can post a link up in the comments below. Next is Chris Petry. Chris is a very active YouTuber producing videos on a very regular basis, multiple times a week. His breakdown of the whole process is one that is fantastic for the beginner painter, especially those not confident in drawing and composition. He'll regularly frame his image, identify where the light is coming from. He'll put in key markers of where he wants his horizon line and where he wants other elements within his painting for compositional purposes, and he'll set that all up before he even lays pen or pencil to paper. So he'll is an absolute outstanding option for those beginning to enhance their composition in their paintings. Next is Paul Clark. Paul Clark really is probably one of my favourite YouTubers, with his weekly painting and teaching guiding the process that he undertakes. He narrates his process and is pleasant to listen to. Of recent times, his lessons have progressed to more advanced paintings, but search back through his history for a range of different subjects and difficulty levels. He provides outlines for his initial drawings to aid those just wanting to focus on painting. He has a great following on Facebook where members can post their attempted guided paintings. Next is Peter Draws. Before I got into watercolour, I liked to draw. Peter inspired me to pick up a fine liner and go to town with mindless drawing of patterns, allowing spontaneity in drawing without plan. He is an interesting individual who will talk about life during his doodles. Now, if you need inspiration or would like to practice your line work, Peter is a great option for you to watch. His technique in utilising contrasting values in his drawings is second to none. He does a really great job of it. Next is Thomas Heaton. Now, Thomas Heaton is a landscape photographer. Before I got into watercolour and drawing, I undertook really a self-taught process of photography, which I probably undertook for about a decade. Now, one of these elements that I was studying during that time is really composition. Thomas Heaton is a photographer who will take you on his adventures where he continually discusses composition and why he takes the images he ends up taking from a compositional standpoint. Now, if you need to work on your composition, this is definitely a channel for you. Next is Karen Rice. Now, Karen is a popular YouTuber. I must say her content is outstanding. The process and articulation throughout her paintings are second to none. A great channel for the beginner watercolourists. Next and last is Tony White. Now, Tony is a watercolour painter of a loose and impressionistic style, and he's not based no more than a 2-hour drive from where I live. Now, I don't know any other watercolour painter here in Tasmania, but he is a painter that I follow on YouTube, Instagram and Facebook. He talks his way through his paintings, discussing technique and intent. Now, I'll hopefully one day get to do one of his workshops, hopefully one that is of a plein air type, as he does have a couple that are done within your own home. I know under times such as these with COVID, it makes it very tricky, but if I'm going to be doing a workshop, I want to be face to face or out and about. Now, these channels that I've listed, I mainly now watch for entertainment purposes, but I still definitely pick up either inspiration, the need to pick up the paintbrush, or for entertainment purposes. Now, if you know any others that could be similar to these that I would be interested in, and as you can see, the theme of a lot of these videos are loose and impressionistic, please definitely post them in the comments below. Till next time, thank you for watching.